So you got a pen lover in your life and you're thinking, well, it's almost Christmas. What should I get this person? It doesn't necessarily have to be a pen lover. It could be somebody who's into journaling or likes to write letters and cards. And you're thinking, maybe I'll get them a fountain pen. So you're starting off. I'm going to show you what I think would be, and everybody's going to disagree, but 3 pens that are good value for somebody who's just starting off. And of course, that would be the Pilot Metropolitan, the Lamy Safari, and the TWSBI Echo. Now, each of these pens are good introductory pens. The Echo actually is a little bit more expensive, say, than the Safari and the Metropolitan. Now, the Metropolitan, the great thing about the Metropolitan, it is a metal pen. It's a Pilot pen. And when I say Pilot pen, Pilot is a brand that I find to be reliable. It has really good nibs. It's well made. And they're actually quite attractive pens. The Pilot Metropolitan is a metal pen. It comes in many different colors, many different designs. Excuse me. And it's a great introductory pen. Mine has a medium nib, and it's a really nice writer. And it's an attractive nib, and it's a Pilot nib, so it's smooth and it just feels nice to write with. That's one one pen to consider. Other pen, of course, is just something a little bit different. The Lamy Safari. Now, the Lamy Safari has the great advantage of being a well-made pen. It's plastic, probably roughly the same cost as a Metropolitan. But it comes in a lot of colors, like a lot of colors, and they're quite fun colors. And every year they bring out new colors. So if you're looking for somebody who's like a teenager or somebody who's, just an interesting character and they like colors, maybe a Lamy Safari would be where to go. And this is a candy apple green it was an edition from a few years ago. So, yeah. Once again, has a steel nib. Probably not as nice a nib as the Pilot, but it is a very good nib. It comes in different sizes: extra fine, medium, up to broad, probably up to stub. Great thing about the Pilot, the Lamy Safari, is it's very easy to switch the nib. You just pull it out, and it comes right out, and then you can push another nib on. So you could have one pen, and the nibs aren't that expensive. So if you have, if you're interested in trying some different nibs, that's a good starting place, because for like $20 you can get or less, you can get a new nib, pull it on, pull the old nib off, push a new size on, and you can try different sizes and find out what you like. That's one of the great advantages of this. The next pen is, of course, the Echo. Now, the Echo is a bit more expensive. It's also a different filling system. These are cartridge converter pens, but this is a piston filler. And when I say piston filler, is you turn a knob at the end and there's a little piston that goes up and down, and the whole body of the pen fills with ink. These are fantastic for, say, a student or somebody who does a lot of writing, because there's so much ink in the body of this pen, and also you can always tell how much ink is in your pen because you can see it. That for somebody a university student or a high school student, junior high, even elementary student, these pens are excellent. And also for somebody who does a lot of on-the-go writing and meetings, things like that, perfect pen for that kind of person who's looking for a workhorse. A little bit more expensive than these two, of course, but a durable, attractive pen. They come in a lot of different colors, and the great thing about these pens is when you can put whatever color ink you want in it, and that's going to enhance the beauty of the pen. So you could put like vibrant colors in here, or in my case, I have a black, and it just, in many cases, improves the look of the pen. Now, you have a TWSBI, or the person you know has a TWSBI, and you think, well, I'll get them another TWSBI. So you can step up a notch. And in this case, the TWSBI Vac Mini is a great pen, more expensive than the Echo, of course, but once again also has that piston, and it's just a beautiful pen. It's a smaller pen. It's a little bit more graceful looking, little bit more classic, and for some, if you're looking just for a step up in price, that's a good way to go. Uh, the Vac Mini. So anyway, we're just running through some ideas here. So you have a Pilot. Now, Pilot makes many different pens. The next level up would be the Pilot Prera. I don't have one on hand, sadly. I should get one. But they also make some beautiful gold nib pens. Gold nibs are probably what I would say a pen for somebody who's experienced a few different fountain pens, and they're looking to make that step up. So it's not necessarily the first pen that somebody would get, but if you're looking for a gold pen, a gold nib, your first gold nibs are more expensive, of course, but there is a Pilot that I would recommend for a first gold nib because it's actually, I'm not going to say inexpensive, but for gold nib, it's very reasonably priced, and that is, of course, the Pilot E95S. It's a vintage design in many ways, throws back to the 60s. It has an inlaid nib, and I love this pen. I love the look of this pen. I like the capping system. It's a piston converter, of course, and this is a beautiful nib. It's also a beautiful writer, but it's a beautiful nib just to look at, and I love this pen. And if you look around, you can find this pen for, say, anywhere from $130, $150, $200, depending if you search around. You can find deals on these pens, and it's a great introductory gold nib, and it's exceptionally well made, and it writes beautifully, and it's excellent. Now, of course, Pilot also makes an iconic, I call it an icon, and it's one of my favorite pens. And it's, of course, the Pilot Custom 74. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cough today, but not COVID. So the Pilot Custom 74 is more expensive than this, but it's one of those pens that anybody who's into fountain pens and is, using different fountain pens or is a collector, this is probably in most people's collection. If most collectors probably have an example or two of the Custom 74, and it's a nice size pen, and it has a beautiful nib. I ordered this one online, and I got it with a soft medium, and I'm very happy with that nib. It's just so smooth, and it writes beautifully, and it has a beautiful ink flow, and it's a classic look. This pen comes in different colors, of course, different finishes. There's transparent versions commonly found in North America. In my case, I got a classic gold and black, and I love gold and black. So if you're getting a Lamy or something, the next step up would be the Lamy AllStar, which is just a bit more expensive, looks almost exactly the same, but there are some differences. This is a plastic pen. The Lamy Safari is a plastic pen, whereas the Lamy AllStar is probably twice the price, and it's an aluminum pen. Same nib, you can pull that off and put a new nib on, interchangeable with the Safari. So if you know somebody who has a Safari and you might get a different nib size, and you can interchange the two very easily. And I'm a big fan of Lamys. I like the design. I like the industrial design. Now, somebody might already have a couple Lamys, and you're thinking, well, I'll step up to the next level for them. The Lamy 2000, which is a classic in design and one of my favorite pens. It's more expensive than these pens by far. Well, not by far. It's actually still relatively reasonable for a gold nib pen, and also one that's so famous within the pen collecting community. It's a piston filler. These are cartridge converter fillers. But this is a piston filler. There's a knob at the end here. You can't really see it until you crack it open. The body of the pen is made of a fiberglass material called macrolon, and it has a semi-hooded nib. This is rhodium plated, I believe. It's a gold nib. It's smooth. It has a bit of feedback. It's a delight to work with. And once again, this has a little ink window right here, so you can it's hard to see it. There you go. You can just make it out. Lets you know how much ink is in it. The body of the pen fills with ink. The piston moves up and down, and it fills with ink. It's a slip cap, and after that, Lamy does have a couple pens in price ranges above the Lamy 2000, but I haven't tried them. So anyway, but this is a classic in design, and it's also a very good first gold nib for somebody. Now, so we've looked at pens, and of course there are so many other pens out there that you might find and be very interested in. I haven't shown any platinums, for instance. The Platinum Preppy, the Platinum 3776, all of those are great pens. But I'm just sort of giving you a rough introduction to ideas for Christmas that are going to inspire somebody and be delightful to use. Now, of course, there are so many pens, so many manufacturers. It's really part of the fun of the hobby, trying to find, new pens and new things. So anyway, set that aside. Now, there's more to pens, of course, than just the pens. There's also inks. Lots of inks. So you have somebody in your family or your friend or somebody on your list who's a pen person, and you're thinking, well, maybe I'll get them a bottle of ink. And once again, there are so many brands of ink out there. I'm just going to show you some ones that I think would make great gifts, and I'll tell you why. There's Noodler's inks, which I would say are probably good inks. For a gift, Noodler's tends to be a tricky ink. They're specialty inks. So I would leave that to for me, I wouldn't necessarily give that as a gift, even though I do have several bottles. But what I would think of as a gift, and if you're looking for something for that pen lover, these here are probably good examples. And of course, that is the Pilot Irashizuku. I have the Diamine ink vent. I have Diamine on its own, and I have a few Ferris wheel press inks. Now, of course, there are so many other brands out there that would make great gifts, but I would say if you have somebody and you wanted to spend, say, like $30, $40, a Pilot Irashizuku ink is a very good idea as a gift. And, well, the box on its own is very simple, but when you open it up, you get a beautiful, beautiful bottle of ink. And it almost, as someone told me, it almost looks like an expensive cologne or perfume. And also, it's beautiful ink. So it's anybody who is into fountain pens and you're looking for, say, a little stocking stuffer for them. Doesn't matter if they have the most expensive pens. Irashizuku, it would be the way to go. Okay. Now, other inks, of course, are just as good. Diamine is one of my favorite brands. I probably like this more than Irashizuku in many ways. They have lots of different colors, lots of different bottle designs, lots of special edition inks. Your standard bottle, is fairly attractive in many ways. It's excellent, well-behaved ink, and you can find all kinds of different colors and limited edition colors and colors of the year, or colors specific to regions. So Diamine, that's an excellent one. Now, Diamine also comes out with something called the ink vent. I don't have the ink vent calendar, but I do have some ink vent inks, and as you see, once again, for this is one of the standard bottles, but they do come out with gift bottles. I call this a gift package, right? It's a beautiful bottle, has little legs on it, looks like a expensive bottle of perfume or cologne, and it's a lovely ink. So Diamine, that's a good brand to look for a gift. Also, and I'm just saying this because, well, it's an interesting brand, and it's Ferris Wheel Press. Ferris Wheel Press has become sort of known for, certain types of inks and packaging. Everything is, sort of almost a Art Nouveau retro feel to it. And when you look at the gold, like even when you pick up the package, it's a beautiful package to look at. When you open it up, it has a beautiful bottle. Once again, reminds me of a perfume bottle. You can see this gold label on it here, gold cap. I'm always worried that I'm going to tip this bottle over, but I haven't yet. Anyway, so it's a little narrow, but if you're careful, you should have no problems. They also come out with, each year they come up with a new limited edition. And this is Tumbling Time Blue, and it comes in this really pretty little bottle. Once again, reminds me of a piece of lovely cologne or perfume. I keep saying that. There's sort of this weird design tradition going on. So those, of course, are just some of my suggestions, but there are so many others out there, ink-wise. Now, people who are into fountain pens and are into ink, they're also into papers, for instance. And, of course, this is a Clairefontaine Flying Spirit notebook. Clairefontaine is an excellent fountain pen friendly paper. They come in different designs. You can buy pads, you can buy different size notebooks, different colors, things like that. So Clairefontaine, anybody who's into fountain pens knows Clairefontaine. They're going to like it when you give it to them. They'll be very happy. So Clairefontaine. Online, this is a Lestallion notebook. I just got this recently, and I like this notebook. I haven't really started using it yet, but I like the design of it. Doesn't lie perfectly flat yet, but I don't mind that. It's just a soft fake leather or faux leather cover. You can't really buy this in a store, but you can order it online. So if you're somewheres where you don't have a brick and mortar store, Lestallion, it's on Amazon. It's a good book. The classic, of course, is the Lystrom 1917 journal for somebody who's into journaling. These are excellent books. I like the fact that there's a little accordion folder at the back so you can stick things in, mementos and stuff like that. There's a company called Paper Blanks, which makes a more elaborate notebook. Almost sort of Renaissance or Victorian inspired. There's like an embroidered this is the cover it feels like fabric, and it's inspired by tapestries and embroidered works or fabrics, rich fabrics, and it has very nice paper for fountain pens. So those are some ideas. And of course, there are so many great notebooks out there. I didn't even mention, say, Traveler's Notebooks or Midori papers or Tamoi river papers and things like that. And of course, if you have somebody who's into fountain pens, doesn't matter if they have very expensive fountain pens, but you're looking for a stocking stuffer, a Rhodia notebook. I use the dot pad, of course. I like the dot matrix. Like you think, oh, that's just a notebook, but it's not expensive. But anybody who's into fountain pens appreciates a Rhodia notebook because they sit on your desk. You can write grocery lists with these things. You can actually write letters using it. It's a beautiful paper for fountain pens. It's readily available everywhere that sells fountain pens. It's one of the most famous brands, and it's excellent paper. So great stocking stuffer. Now also, anybody who's into fountain pens probably needs a pen case. And in this case, I'm just showing you one that I've been using lately. This is called Designed for Arrangement. It has like a fabric canvas material. It's heavily stitched. There's little pockets on the front. You can put like cards or things in there for quick access, maybe a little notebook. You open it up and there's places to put your pens like this on there, and you probably can hold 8 pens more. Eight pens is probably all you can really comfortably put in here. There's places back here for business cards. There's a place back here for a notebook or your phone, or chargers and things like that. So once again, there are many different manufacturers. This is just one I have on hand, designed for arrangements. I got this at the local bookstore, the Bookmark, and I've been using it lately, and I quite like it. I like the size. It's big, but it's not so big that I can't stick it in a coat pocket, and I like that. Anyway, so I hope you like this video. I hope it's helpful. It's just something I like doing. Sometimes I get asked recommendations for things, and these are some of the things I recommend. And of course, there are so many other brands out there, and so many inks, and so many pens, and so many, pen cases. And this is just a little toe in the water for you. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new around here, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. And also, if you have any comments, suggestions to make, let me know in the comments. So anyway, I hope you have a good time. I hope you're having a great day, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.